What's up, everyone? It's Gabbie Trades here, and welcome back to the Coin Bureau Trading channel. Well, bullish days ahead or more traps ahead. It's gonna be one of both for sure. But before we get rolling, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if anyone is new here. Make sure to come and say hi in the chat box and hit the small bell notification so you never miss a live breakdown here with me. For some reason, I don't see anyone in the chat box. I just want to check here with the back end if everything is okay. Everything. Oh, yeah. Looks good. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. Glad to see you guys. Okay. We have Wouter here and we have Gabriel Fonte. Oh, yay. All right. There was a little bit of delay in I guess the messages. Okay, now everything's coming. Yes, we have Zulu, we have Nicholas, Antonio. You guys, are you ready for today? We're gonna go ahead and jump straight in. So we have like a couple of pieces of fresh information that we need to look. Let me know if the music is okay for you guys. If you want me to put it up, put it down, whatever you guys want, we shall deliver. Okay, so first of all, as you can see over here, one-day performance, we have the technology. This is TradFi, right? We have the tech sector heavily leading, which is good, right? Why do I say it's good? Because most of the things are also in the green. But basically, this leadership over here was led by NVIDIA. Right, so that is adding the fuel to possible new all-time highs for the TradFi, right? We want to see new breakouts on the TradFi. That's gonna roll over into crypto, which is important. But I want you guys to remember, when we have heavy tech leadership, that always brings some fragility, right? We always need to see follow through in the market and breadth in the market, which means other sectors also, participating in the rally. Okay, especially because we're still in fear. We're still in fear, right? Crypto is in fear. Like, look at the levels that we're currently at. I mean, we're down bad at the moment. Stock market is picking up a little bit, but is still in fear. So you guys know the reasons for that were multiple, right? We had lots of things going on, especially the government shutdown. But now the shutdown drama got a potential resolution, right, in the Senate. So the risk is kind of partially lifted at the moment because and markets responded immediately, right? So we still need to see a final vote of that news that we got recently. We need to see final vote, we need to see signatures, and they are still ahead. So in case anything stumbles, definitely we're gonna see a massive change in the market sentiment. So again, with that good news, we saw a lot of gapping up in the market. So we need to find out from now on, are these gaps going to hold? Is tech going to continue to cooperate? That is then going to give us even furthermore, is going to add furthermore to our bullish bias. But if we see any signs of the house maybe lagging, or even if tech starts stalling, that is going to be your pullback flag immediately. Okay, so in regards to the other thing I wanted to discuss is the 50-year mortgage offer that Trump is proposing, right? So the thing is, they are backing this 50-year mortgage plan, and Trump is calling it a game changer. All right, not Trump, but Pult, right? He wrote, "Thanks to President Trump, we're indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer." So basically, the idea here is very, very simple. They want lower monthly payments by really stretching the loans for over half a century, which sounds a little bit nuts. But in reality, that means, homeowners are going to pay hundreds and thousands more in interest, and they will build their equity very, very slow. So maybe short term is going to look a little bit more affordable, but it's going to, of course, inflate home prices even further, basically, which is basically going to create like a bubble, right? Think pre-2008. Hopefully they've learned their lessons at that time, so we don't have to repeat anything. But yeah, some people are, arguing that they don't even know how is that even realistic. So let's see if they can actually pull that off. Also today we have bank holidays in the US, you guys. Only France, also France, if I'm not wrong. Canada as well. So probably the market today is not the best, but anyway, we did have our final month opening for November. You guys know the way I trade, I look at the months a little bit differently. So for me, November starts over here at the 10th of November. All right, so now that we have our true month open, we have our true week open, guys, don't forget to like this video, say hi in the chat box. Hi, you sound really quiet. I guess that's the maximum I could sound. But anyway, I hope you guys can hear me. Maybe you can put your volume up if you can. All right, so let's focus on the charts, right? Bitcoin. So first of all, over here, after we had the true month open, it looks a bit weak, right? It looks a bit weak because then we had the true week open, and the way they opened, they looked quite weak. So there was a short setup up here, in the daily support up to the true month open. In an ideal case scenario, the true month open would have held, and then we would have seen a lot of buying from here. But of course, that's in some sort of imaginary scenario that would be very, very great, because right, if I look at the previous month, right, we had the previous true month open around this area, and price rejected from it, even though I had a bullish bias. So we were buying up until the retest of the true month open last month, but then everything sold off because true month proved to be a massive resistance. So of course, you can dream, I could dream that today this would have been the case, but obviously it's clearly not, and the bearish bias is dominating today. Okay, that's only today. Now, yeah, we had few positive news, so let's see how that rolls out. At the moment, the best case scenario for this Bitcoin trade will be you have a short. If you have you probably don't have the short, but if you had my indicators, if you had the course that I recently made, you should have been short here. Point is, right, the idea is that we need to have a higher low created here. So several supports for that I'm going to give you guys right now. If you want to follow what I do, it's basically first support is around 102.6, right? But I also want to mention that we have a breaker block over here that we currently are back testing. So we're still trading in the candle that's pretty much retesting right now the true month open. Are we going to see a reversal of that candle, or maybe the following 4-hour candle is going to reverse? This is also a possibility, because we might be retesting a breaker block over here to simply continue up higher. If that's the case, then we have a clear scenario for Bitcoin trading up to 110k, which I think last week we discussed. That's a daily resistance, right? Daily resistance over here. I've marked it so you can see it a little bit better, but it's definitely a short scenario area. All right, around 110 Bitcoin. So this is the best thing we can hope for now, to create a higher low over here and just continue. So we have one support, 102.6, another support, obviously, actually we also have on the 4-hour time frame, but I don't think that's going to be very strong, at around 101.5. But with all these stacked lows over here, probably not. So then, again, we're going to look at 100k. So if S hits the fan, like I like to say, if everything goes to hell, it's not looking very good, right? Because to be honest with you, with this whole reversal down here, the only confirmation we have had, Medina is saying the audio is very low. I'm not sure why is that. To be fair, I've never had complaints for the audio before, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see. Maybe if I just move the mic a little bit like that, let me know if it's better. Yes. So the thing is, right, all this scenario down here is developing, and okay, backstage is saying audio is okay, thank you so much. The volume down here is not absolutely incredible. We had a little bit, but it's not that insane. So it's still a very tricky area. Of course, we're not forgetting that we're bearishly distributing still. We haven't broken anything. We haven't created any higher high to be happy with. And before we do that, lots of work needs to be done. So let's just quickly discuss, the bad scenario. And of course, that is going to be for price to indeed prove us that is very bearish this month, and then we start trading below. We take these relatively equal lows over here. I mean, look at them. Just look at these two lows over here. I mean, lots of liquidity, right? When you see relatively equal lows like that, that's the first thing that should come to mind. Second thing is, right, first support then, if that happens, is going to come at around between 96.2 to 94K Bitcoin. So, very, very nasty. If that happens, I really genuinely don't want to see that. All right. Because that is going to push our limits, very, very, high. So this is where we're currently standing. You do have a case that price could reverse here out of nowhere. Absolutely possible. I've seen it happening before on a lower time confirmation. You have only 4-hour time confirmation. You don't have a confirmation on a 12-hour time frame or a daily time frame, which ideally preferably you would want to have in this sort of bearish distribution over here. But yeah, I still am long Bitcoin, right, from the lows down here. What else am I long? I'm long Pepe. Currently, I'm long LTC, which I entered today. I was tagged in that. And then I'm looking at few other altcoins potentially that could do something, right? Because, generally, if we look at ETH right now, we're still kind of like, this is the major area that I'm concerned with for Ethereum. That's exactly 3,524. I really like the fact that we traded on a daily time frame above this level, and now we're retesting it, right? Yesterday we kind of retested it, rejected it, which I really, really liked. Today we're back at it. All right, so that level we've discussed multitude of times. That is an important level where price rejected from many times, right? Rejected over here back in 24, rejected over here January early this year. Then we use it as support, and we made a new high, right? So then we retested it again, failed, retested bearish resistance, and then we just like distributed, which is horrible, right? But it's a real level. So I still have some hopes that this level might hold, and that would be ideal. But as you can see on a daily time frame, this could simply be a rollover point. It is what it is, right? On a 4-hour time frame, you could potentially argue that you have some bullish scenario, but that's it. Your accent is from the Netherlands. Yeah, a little bit. I used to live there quite a bit. And studied there. Yeah, I had a great time actually. I love Ik hou van Nederland. All right, cool. Do you have any altcoin requests, you guys? If you want to put them in the chat box, go ahead, because yeah, I'm gonna review Sol. Maybe we're gonna look at ETH, BTC, USDT dominance, Bitcoin dominance for funsies. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You guys, are you actually gonna make it a thing now, recognizing where I'm from? I found it funny the first time, but now I'm finding it annoying because I want us to VeChain. You guys, make sure you give me tickers, because I genuinely don't know the names of the coins, right? I couldn't care less. All right, cool. Is there anything else that I want to talk to? Yeah, so if we manage to hold that level, basically, right? So for ETH, these are the levels of support: 3,364, 3,524. This is what we're seeing right now over here. And then if everything goes to, I don't know where, if it goes bad, then we're looking at 2,900 for support on ETH. I don't want to see that happening for sure. Definitely not. Now, if I go ahead and look at Solana, I'm probably going to say a similar thing. I'm kind of happy that we had, a bullish engulfing over here on a daily time frame, trading above my level of for Solana, which was 162, right? This was the level. So yeah, let's see, right? Let's see if that level is going to hold. I personally trade at the moment on Sol. I'm not entirely convinced, but you could potentially punt. It's just not me at this point, right? Because you do have a 4-hour confirmation, but that's it. Anything above 4-hour confirmation, you don't have. And worst of all, if you look down here, you haven't taken the liquidity by a hair. So let's see how much actually that is. That hair is exactly 2%. So we still have quite a possibility to start chasing that liquidity down here and hopefully find support at $140 for Solana. Does that make sense? So yeah, you potentially have a case over here, but it's going to be quite a surprise if that happens, because for now, you know, this is just a bearish distribution. And it is what it is, right? It is what it is. You had a buy zone that was traded through, so it might prove itself as resistance, and you could simply roll over, right? So it's definitely on the table. You have no proof, right? You have no proof. Even if that holds, you trade up to 187, it could still be a level for a short. Yeah, we're gonna look at Doge as well, for sure. Right, and then if we come on and look at ETH BTC again, we've discussed that it reached our level, right? Our daily level, very important. Daily support down here for ETH BTC. We traded a bit deeply into it, which is again why I'm so sussed about it. And then after that, this is going to be my next level of interest if everything fails, right? 0.02981 to 0.03050. That's for ETH BTC over here. So far, again, bearishly distributing. What else can I tell you, right? To be a little bit more secure on ETH BTC's breakout, even though technicals don't work that well on this chart, I'd say you need a break at least above over here. So that's 0.03543. So if you want to be that conservative person and just wait for a massive proof, this is what you're going to be doing, right? This is what you're going to be doing, sitting on your hands and waiting for a proper breakout. Okay. Now, if we look at the USDT dominance, all right, so we had a previous sell zone over here, held once, rejected once, blah, 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 blah. And then finally, we just broke through it. So essentially, that is now, you know, a sell breaker block, right? I don't tend to change the stuff because I recognize what I'm seeing, such as we had over here, right? So these sort of level are still valid, right? Still mean something, you know? So right now, this was my scaries, right? This was my scaries that we're going to trade back into it, and then we're going to start rejecting from it to give a final test of these zones over here up in, you know, the 5.54, 5.56 region, right? And if we look on the weekly time frame, it can actually get nasty because we do have a weekly liquidity to grab. But if we go ahead and grab that liquidity on USDT dominance, you guys, I think you should pay attention to this. 6.25, in case we start going in that direction, 6.25, that should be our final straw, and we should start rejecting from here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense if that happens? Okay, so just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Oh, stop doxing me. What else? All right, cool. So we had few requests, didn't we? All right, cool. Link. Yeah, sure. We can look at link. So we're going to start with link over here. I'm just like following the chat box. I'm definitely going to miss some coins, you guys. Please don't blame me for it. Right, similar scenario with the sell breaker block over here that I was trying to show you on the dollar. You know, trace through it, so that might, you know, combined with a weekly SR flip over here, which means support used to be support turn into resistance area. It's very important on Chainlink. So you have a level, right, weekly level, $22.88. $22.88 is the holy grail for Chainlink. In case you want to be a mega giga conservative trader, then you pretty much have to wait a long time for that breakout to happen. And you know what, I would understand that, because these sort of reversals from the bearishness that we saw on the altcoins, you know, they take time. It doesn't just snap up like that. It doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work like that. And currently on Link, we kind of tried to protect the support at $16, but right now we're, you know, retesting it again as we speak. Of course, this is happening as we speak right now, so you do have a potential case of reversing over here. You also have some support in that block down here, which is between 14.6 to 15.5. But again, higher time frame, if you look at this asset, it hasn't proven absolutely nothing, right? In fact, it looks very, very ugly. So you know, I know it's an ETF coin, it can run or whatever, it really can, but I have a massive problem with it, right? If you add the range model theory, and by the way, I haven't done the checks today. Let me go ahead and check on you guys. What are you doing over here with our lovely video today? You know, we're getting a vacuum ads. Love it. We have 64 people watching and only 29 likes. You guys are kidding me. We need at least 30 more likes right now. And also, I'm encouraging you, if you're looking for a place to trade non-KYC or KYC, make sure to check the Coin Bureau trading deals, be it on Bybit, 2Bit. Make sure to come up here and check the deals. You will also see some codes on the screen up, I think, here, and you can scan them with your mobile device in case you're looking for that. And then make sure to follow my main YouTube channel as well. That would be of much help. And this is the course I was telling you about and the trading indicators. You guys can find it over here in the description box. But anyway, so range model theory, right? This is the problem. Even though it's a nice bullish leg overall on a higher time frame for Link, the rejections at 0.5 for me are very dangerous, right? Usually if an asset is rejecting at the 0.5 of the price leg, be it high time frame, lower time frame, I don't care, it is generally bearish, right? The only thing that looks good is that we kind of continue to hold 0.236, which is always a buy zone, right? It is always a buy zone, very deep, traded through, you know, with that liquidation, very deep. But again, it came down into another buy zone, which again, you can only see with my indicators, which is the double bottom of this triangular formation, right? These are very, very powerful tools, right? On a weekly time frame, especially if you see that formation, you know that traded through it. Same with the USDT dollar dominance that I was just trying to tell you. We have that on a weekly time frame. So if we trade through it, it's gonna potentially have room to reverse, right? So, but anyway, the double bottoms are always a zone of a bounce. So this is where the liquidation point exactly bounced from. So right now we have some exhausted buy zones, retested several times, and pretty much our only hopes over here, right? So for me, at the very least, trade above $16 to start with, and then again, I won't be too sure. Yes, we have lots of stacks of liquidity over here on Link, so potentially that is going to happen at some point, but you know, I don't know what's going to happen once we reach the weekly support. If we have a breakout, happy days. If not, for now, Link is not tradable for me, basically, so let's not waste more time on it. But you guys need to understand the basics of it. All right, cool. Gaps is Polish. No, I'm not. Okay, cool. Near high virtuals. Okay, cool. Damn, we had so many more, but you guys keep putting like some random countries. All right, you know what? Let's do APT because lots of fans of APT in Coin Bureau trading channel. I'm aware of that. So we're just gonna go ahead and look at APT real quick, which is, you know, not a pretty chart, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. Let's get the charted one, which I think is this one or this one. Yeah, this is the charted one. You see, so at the moment, most of the altcoins are actually at some sort of zones that could potentially do something, but we literally don't have any evidence to go ahead and start jumping on most of them. You know what I mean? And Aptos is definitely one of these coins, right? $3, right? Between $3 and $3.2 is the first area that I'm interested in, right? So I want to see price holding above, price completely dropped below it, and then it retraced to, honestly, I don't know where. I don't even understand what this level is down here at $2.5. It seems like just a random round number. Very random. So let's see what's going to happen over here if we're going to break this. And even if we do, right, I'm not jumping into any conclusions, because for me, from now on, I honestly don't care with APT. I hold it as, you know, spot. I haven't exited anything, unfortunately. Probably I should have exited up here after this liquidity was taken at, like, you know, $5.2, but Right now, I don't want to touch it on leverage below $5 genuinely, right? Genuinely, because it could just prove to do nothing. But if it does good, it definitely has room to run to $7. That's one thing I see. So potentially $7 maybe, right? And then we're lucky. If we're lucky, the range is showing us maybe $10.7 and extremely lucky at $16, and that's it, right? But these are just honestly very, very lucky scenarios. Yeah, literally. Croatia, no. Aster. Let's look at Aster real quick. Where is it? Oh, so many coins. I don't see anything, you guys. Oh, here. So yeah, Aster, sort of the formation that I'm seeing right now, just with my naked eye, is usually a formation that, you know, could potentially work, but not really, right? What can I tell you? I honestly don't know. Hold on. Yeah, we're still at a buy zone. Okay, so this is kind of like a support, all this entire range. But yeah, you're kind of ranging right now. You pumped a little bit, then you dumped, you took all the lows down here, and now you started distributing a little bit to the upside. So could this be it, right? Could this be it? You take these lows and then you start distributing? Probably, right? Probably. But at least anything trading above 1.22, trade above 122 with strength, you know, lots of volume, creating price imbalances on the buy side, not on the sell side. You know, buy side imbalances. I'll be very happy to start trading it. For now, you guys are risking another potential retest at the lows down here, because this is not strong, right? This is not strong. Okay. Fantastic information. I'm glad you guys are finding it helpful, right? Because that's the whole reason I'm here. HBAR. All right, so HBAR, unfortunately, just like literally all of the altcoins with the 4-hour liquidity down here, it's horrible to look at. But let's just say maybe we're gonna run to at least take some price points before we go back to that liquidity. Hopefully, yeah. So HBAR is actually not too bad if you look at it on was it daily, weekly. Yeah, HBAR, you still have that liquidity at 0.4 up here at the very high of the price leg that we're currently in. So yeah, it does have potential right now in an interesting zone, a very interesting zone. Let's lower to a daily time frame. Actually, 12 hourly is better. I kind of like it, right? I don't hate it at the moment. The only problem I have with it is that this over here should have broken out a little bit higher, right? Not breaking out a little bit higher is usually the sell setup that I'm going to get at this rejection block down here to retest zones. And that's what happened. So again, bearish distribution, right? The only thing I like seeing is what's been happening in the last few days with this candle, then range, this candle over here. So I kind of like that. We still haven't broken the 12-hour liquidity. So again, if I'm going to punt this, I will probably be looking at the daily support at around 0.17535. That would be probably an area that I'll be looking for, hoping for this to break with the rest of the market out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that would be the dream. And yeah, if it starts trading above 0.22, that would even be further confirmation that I'm on the right side of the trade. And then I will chase at the very least this liquidity up here on a daily time frame, which is at 0.27660, right? Not to mention we have one more above that at 0.8744. So actually up to this point. Okay, and then if I stretch the time frames and look at the range model theory, then I can see, okay, maybe, you know, we have a space to run to 0.786. So in that case, I'll be out of that position if I manage to catch it here, if I decide to do it, because I already opened few positions on few alts. So, you know, you have to remember that you have the weekly liquidity. So I would be leaving a runner for that, for potentiality to surprise me. right? Okay. Last time I requested a coin, you straight away refused to cover it. Do you know if I want to request any more? Oh, that's very sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think I ever refused it. You know what happens? Sometimes people send out coins and the chart looks terrible, you know, and I just tell you the chart looks terrible. You know, I'm here to tell you what I see, not to make you necessarily try to make you feel better for, you know, some coins. I understand that it's very hard, right? You invest, you sometimes get emotionally attached to it. I understand where you're coming from, mate. All right. So yeah, John, please go ahead and request your coin. We're gonna review it again, but if it looks bad, I'm gonna say it looks bad. Okay, we're gonna see a pump while we wait for John to give us his coin. Yeah, so yeah, so basically, right, this is the area of interest for pump right now. We have a small one over here, I think 4-hour time frame. I was reviewing this. Yeah, so for the 4-hour time frame, right, in case you're like, hey, this might run, the zones are potentially here. If you want to make a screenshot, 0.0042, 0.0040 approximately, right? But still, let's not forget, okay, look at this red line. So this is daily resistance. Again, you guys, these things, honestly, get the indicators. They're just $20 because they're developed with the greatest indicator developers out there. They're gonna help you. All right, I'm just trying to help you here. And again, if you're looking for any places to trade like KYC or non-KYC, you guys make sure to check the deals that Coin Bureau Trading has organized here for you guys. They're getting the best deals, so make sure to check them out. But yeah, just to tell you quickly about Pump Fund, the rejection at the daily resistance, quite, you know, bearishly, right? Bearish engulfing here on the 4-hour time frame. It's not necessarily something I love. Okay, so yeah, you still have a bearish case over here. We just need to be aware of that. But yeah, potentially maybe this area could hold. You do have a case, you have a nice breakout with some strength, then rejection. So maybe the buyers are going to defend this zone, if that makes sense. Yes, make sure to hit the like button. Co-AI, okay, all right, okay. Oh, you're probably referring to Co-AI. Okay, cool. That's fine. I understand. I mean, I get it, man. I get it. You know, it looks heavily manipulated. That's the reason why, you know, I just don't want to look at it anymore. But here, we're gonna look straight into it right now. Okay, so one thing I see, it does have a potentiality to pump to 1.54 on a 4-hour time frame. 1.54, that's, you know, one liquidity that you could potentially look forward to. If I'm correct, you know, this zone down here needs to hold. Does that make sense? Down here, double bottom formation of the, you know, triangular liquidity. So yeah, you're looking at 0.79 in between 0.994. So yeah, you want a nice sweep. Honestly, like before that, you want a nice sweep, maybe retest of that level again, and potentially to run to grab that liquidity, right? But you have to keep in mind that the low might be also retested at 0.8. Okay. AVAX, yes, 2 people asked at the same time, so we're gonna go ahead and look at AVAX. AVAX is, I'm not hating AVAX, I actually like it for the sole reason that AVAX, you know, has a weekly liquidity that I'm really fond of, right? Double liquidity formation, one of my favorites. So yeah, essentially you've taken the lower parts of the liquidity here. That's taken, retested multiple times. AVAX, I'm a little annoyed because I had such a sniper entry, like to the pip, and then it retraced all back. So I was kind of like, come on, obviously I didn't lose. I was at break even, but it was kind of annoyed because I didn't even oh, sorry, I wasn't even actually tagged. I don't think I was tagged. Anyway, I've forgotten, but whatever. You do have double liquidity formation on this. So you have $65 up here to look forward to, right? Which is insane if it runs. I think they also have documents as well for ETFs and stuff like that. But you know what? All of these lines, daily support, but right now this is a weekly support. Okay, this is a weekly support over here. Over here, this keep this because that's what we were expecting the weeks before. The week before. So this is the weekly support. You see it is sitting at $17.2. So that's major, right? That's major. And the thing that I wanted to see with the weeks before, the past 2 weeks, were for price to trade down and retest again the triangular double bottom formation over here, which it did, right? Which it did. And then we had another weekly support down here, which I was looking forward to. Actually, that's a lie. Hold on, let's delete that. I was looking forward to for price to come down and retest $14.6 because that's weekly support, right? That's weekly support down here. That's what I wanted to see. Now, price today, I noticed that, by the way, price didn't reach that. Let's see with how many percentages that was actually the case. So yeah, 2%. The reason for that is the more important area is again the triangular formation, right? The double bottom over here. Gabbie trades indicators. I'm telling you guys, go get them. They will help you. So this was pretty much the level, right? So we bounced nicely from it with a very respectable wick on the weekly, which a lot of alts did that, like 15, 16, 70% wicks on the weekly. And I kind of like that because it closed above the second weekly support that I was interested in. All right. So, and if we go down a time frame, you do have potentially a case over here, right? You potentially have a case to trust that breakout over here and maybe, you know, at around 17.2 say, okay, this is, I can have you know, a constructive trading plan over here created around this area, with understanding that, of course, if everything fails, my next zone of support is $14.6 and a worst case scenario $11.8, right? So you need to keep all these things in mind. Very important. And then, of course, you have to break $20 over here because, as you can see, it was tested as a resistance, and we just bearishly distributed down here. So this is literally the first case that you're potentially sort of like trying to do something, right? But you did a very similar thing over here, right? And nothing happens. So are you doing kind of the same thing and then just rolling over again? This is the thing that we don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to hit the like button once again, and love your presence in the chat box. I'm glad you guys are chatting and you're finding this useful, which is most important to me. So thankfully, I'll see you again on Thursday where we're going to review more coins and see what's happening. All right. Wish you guys a pleasant rest of your day. See you around.